Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Walk and Talk with Josh. I am thrilled to have Michele Davis, class of 1987, with me today. Michele, welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here with you.
Glad to have you on campus. We're going to walk around the quad a little bit.
Perfect.
My walks have been everywhere, but we're back on the quad today on a beautiful day.
Fantastic.
So Michele, class of 1987. What led you to Emory? Let's start at the beginning.
Yes, let's start at the beginning. I actually feel very lucky that I wound up at Emory because I was not super excited about going to college.
Oh.
And I'd had a terrible experience in high school, and so I knew about Emory, and I came to an Emory Weekend and had an unbelievable experience going to classes and experiencing what the community was like. Meeting with some people in the admissions office, and I said, that's where I want to go. And that wound up being the only school I applied to.
Oh, wow.
And I was
Glad that worked out.
It was either going to be here or nowhere.
So, came to Emory. Where were you from?
So I had spent high school in Marietta, Georgia.
Yep,
so
right outside Atlanta.
Not far from here at all.
And what'd you major in?
So
Tell me about your Emory experience.
So my Emory experience, I was a psychology major, sociology minor. And really had thought from the beginning that I probably would do something, either go on and get an advanced degree in psychology, or I really wanted to be a counselor. And I knew that kind of from my early days. So I did a variety of volunteer work through Volunteer Emory.
Awesome.
I got involved with Residence Life. Residence Life was really important to me my first year, and I became a sophomore advisor and then an RA. Lived in freshman halls all 4 years.
That college thing took.
Absolutely. Once I got settled, it was perfect. Loved it.
So, Michele, you and I have known each other a long time. You've been a very engaged alum. You talk about, again, this journey to college. What kept you involved? I mean, why be an engaged alum? What really drew you to staying connected and involved with Emory?
You know, I really do credit my experience here at Emory for putting me on just an incredible path. Mm-hmm. And I felt like if I had not, I can't imagine what it'd be like if I hadn't come to Emory. And I was so indebted to folks that I met and people who supported me in being here. I was a first generation student, and it was a struggle for my parents just to afford for me to come here. And I was so, again, indebted for the opportunity to be here. And I felt like I wanted to pass that forward.
Yep.
And even though I was not local, it took a little bit for me to find ways to get engaged. Yep. But once I did, I feel like all I've ever done is look for what's the next way.
Next thing.
What else can I do?
I actually think it's important to talk about that journey. I mean, part of what I want to do in these is show other alums ways that they can get involved. So I first met you. You were involved in your region.
Yes.
So let's talk about regional engagement for a minute.
Yep. Yeah, so I have been in Boston now for a number of years, and that's where I first became re-engaged with Emory. And we were just a fledgling group of folks.
Yep.
And
not even a chapter.
Not even a chapter, just some people. And through the support of the staff, was really able to begin to get let's get a few things going and start to build some momentum. And so that was, whether it was the Emory students were coming for a basketball game, or the head of the Charles, or a send-off party. And that's where I first became engaged.
And then that led to Boston becoming an official chapter at the time, before we called them networks.
Yes.
And you led that group.
I did lead that group.
So, I think people can see that as you get out, even if there isn't a chapter, find a way to get involved in your region or community. In larger communities, there are networks and chapters that you can get involved in. And then what was next for you? How did you go from there?
So next for me was the Emory College Alumni Board.
Yep.
And I was a charter member. I was thrilled to be tapped because I wasn't that student. I mean, it was hard for me here at Emory. And so I wasn't someone who had been a student leader.
Right.
And so to be asked to serve in that capacity was thrilling to me. And I couldn't wait to do that. Yep. And one of the first initiatives that ECAB was working on was in conjunction with the EAB, which is the Student to Alumni Experience Committee, which which spoke to me because, again, I was the student and I knew what the student experience was like. And I thought more and more about like, wow, if I had connected with alums when I was a student, I didn't even know how to do that.
Yep.
So here was an
I bet
opportunity.
students today don't know how to
do
connect
that.
with alums.
That's right.
And there's a whole community out there looking to engage with our students.
That's right. That's right.
Well,
and so to begin to be able to do that work.
Yeah. So Michele, I think, again, what I'm trying to do is draw that path, right? You got involved in your region. There wasn't even a chapter.
Yep.
You became the chapter leader in your region. You then got involved in the College Alumni Board when it was new. Mm-hmm. That led you to find out about the Emory Alumni Board. What happened next?
And then I was miraculously invited to join the Emory Alumni Board and had the unique opportunity to ultimately then serve first as the Student Alumni Experience Committee Chair.
That committee that brought you
that
in.
brought me in and to really drive forward some student initiatives and how we worked with students. And then ultimately to serve as the Emory Alumni Board President, which was the pinnacle.
The pinnacle. So serving as the Emory Alumni Board President, representing all schools and units and really the broader alumni association and alumni body was a pinnacle, right? It kind of led you on that journey. Mm-hmm. You had a particular project, and I think it then begins to speak to some of your personal interests. You've already talked about being a first-gen student, as am I. But let's talk a little bit about the initiative that you started during your time as Alumni Board President.
Yes. Something I'm really proud of, which was the 1915 Scholars program. And it really it was born out of conversations that we were having as board leadership with students and student leaders. And students being, really forthcoming around this idea of like, they were so grateful to be at Emory and to have this experience through Emory Advantage and other programs. Mm-hmm. And
these are other first-gen, low-income students.
That's right. Although they didn't necessarily, they were student leaders who also happened to have that identity.
Yep.
And so
or saw their friends.
Yes.
Maybe not having the same experience they were having.
That's correct. Yep. Exactly. And a couple of these students in particular shared that it was really challenging to be poor on this campus.
Yep.
That was an identity that many others they were very comfortable with, but being poor was really hard. And to know that their families are really struggling and they actually, had a nice room to sleep in and they had better meals. And so really struggling with what that was like. In addition to saying like, I can't afford to go get a coffee when my hallmates are doing that. And I don't know about this thing of office hours with professors. And so what we realized—
And what about this research thing in the summer?
That's research,
or
and how
study
can
travel
I do
abroad,
that?
or all
That's
these
right,
other things.
all these other experiences. And so while they were so grateful for what they did have, there also was this gap. And so the feeling really was just like it is our responsibility as alumni to support students.
To ensure that all Emory students have the same experience.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
So 1915, we're actually on the quad. In fact, we're between the two buildings that formed this campus in 1915, which is where that came from. That program has now, it's been through some transitions.
That's right.
But that program is now broadened and expanded into a new group called Emory First.
That's right, which is amazing. Amazing. And we got to go visit there yesterday.
Something that started as just an idea of students that brought forward a concept to alumni has now turned into a broader program supporting first-gen students.
That's right.
I hope that feels good.
Which feels great. And what's even better, I think, is that it also engages other alumni through mentorship programs. And so it's another way that we as alums can both give back with money, but also with time.
Yep, that's wonderful. So Michele, you're here today and from Boston. We're having our trustee meetings, and you're now the alumni representative on the development committee, the area that I oversee on the board of trustees, representing alumni interest on the board. Again, that next thing found you, didn't it?
It did.
How's that been as an experience?
Yeah, it's been incredible. One of the things that I'm so grateful for with Emory is that I have this opportunity to both give back and to meet students and support students and meet lots and lots of other alums that I never would have met. It's also an opportunity, though, to really to learn and to understand more about how the university works, and particularly, I think, with development, to really understand the mechanics behind it, and therefore to be able to go out and be a really good ambassador.
You and I have talked about some of these topics for years.
Yes.
So having you sit across the table as we really get into the meat of them has been a lot of fun.
It's been so much fun. So much fun.
Well, we're lucky to have you continue to serve in that role. So as people think about, as they're watching this, they're an alum, and they're thinking, I've not been that involved. I don't know how to get involved. I don't know what to do. You've given them a little bit of a tutorial of get involved in your network or chapter, get involved in a school or unit board. But what would you say to someone who's saying, I want to give back, or I don't know how, or I don't know that I can help? You had that same feeling as you graduated. What would be your advice around how to get started as an engaged alum?
So I would say the first thing is to honestly to look for what's happening in your area, wherever that is. So make sure that you're signed up to get information from the Alumni Association.
And if it's not?
And if it's not, one, you can start it. Two, there's lots of people that you could connect with to say, like, how might I do that? You can attend a virtual event. There's so many different ways.
So many new ways. And that might be 6 people getting together for dinner in Cincinnati.
That's right.
Just try to find a way to connect with your fellow alums. So I think that's a nice way to start. And then
just keep saying yes. Keep showing up. Keep saying, I want to be involved. How else can I be involved? Talk to your fellow alums. Figure out what else is happening around your city, I would say, again, as a starting point. And then connect back to whatever school it was, whether you were at Rollins or you were in the college.
Well, and you just talked about virtual programming. I feel like post-pandemic, virtual has changed so much, and the opportunity. You can be a mentor to a student.
Absolutely.
Talk about your career to someone who's thinking about that career but isn't sure. Meet virtually via Zoom with the current student and mentor them along the way.
Absolutely.
If your company does, host an intern.
There's so many ways on every possible level to be involved.
Well, I hope that people will get inspired. We're building that alumni network. I say student to alumni is one of the huge ways, but there's also alumni to alumni. So,
well, and I would just say one of the last things is just the number of good friends that I have now who are folks that I met as an alum that I didn't know as a student. I feel like my network is that much bigger. There are people that I tap into all the time
You've
that I never
got
would
good
have
friends
known.
from your alumni engagement.
Absolutely.
Not just your student
engagement. It's like a whole nother, as much as I always say, I'd love to come back to college, I feel like I've had this incredible, secondary part of my Emory experience by being involved as an alum.
That's incredible. So as we wrap up here, first I want to say congratulations and then see if there are any final words. But this spring you'll be receiving the J. Pollard Terman Award, which is the highest alumni service honor for alumni service to Emory. So first of all, I just want to say congratulations.
Thank you.
A well-deserved honor, as everyone will hear and see. Anything you want to say about receiving that award?
Honestly, I am just so humbled to be among that group of people who have received it.
Well, you've earned it and you deserve it, Michele. So I'm very, very happy and look forward to celebrating you on that special evening and special honor.
Well, thank you. I get so much back from all my engagement at Emory. So,
any final words for our audience or alums about what they can do, or is this?
Just say yes. Get involved. Show up.
Awesome. Michele, thank you so much for doing this. Thanks for all you do for Emory. We're better because of it, and we'll be better because of other alums getting involved like you have. Thanks so much for doing this.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining another episode of Walk and Talk. Was thrilled to have Michele today. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.